Here's part 3 of I'm Still Searching. What we really need, which I've mentioned before, is a more intellectually honest approach, really. People cannot just believe things because they want to believe them. It seems to me that we should believe things because there is a scientific evidence to support beliefs. The truth is that people don't always like to use their logic, and to me, this is ironic, because logic appears to be what makes humans special and different from the apes, dogs, goats, cats, etc. The real problem is that people who are afraid to use logic many times fear people who love logic and truth. This causes an ugly schism, a political line in the sand between believers and non-believers. What can set us free? It's a passion for truth and reflection upon logical arguments that can get us closer. So how do we show extreme respect for those who believe differently or perhaps less logically than we do? How do we help the spiritually vulnerable be comfortable with more down-to-earth ideas without crushing the fairy tale that God knows, God cares, and God will save, and that Jesus will come back to save the good people if there's a nuclear holocaust? It's a lot like telling a child who believes in Santa that there's no Santa. We must, with great compassion, tell them the truth so they will not be hurt psychologically. My fear is that during this information explosion, which will increase exponentially over the next few years, the irrational thinkers will start to get it, will start to know that they're on the wrong side of the question. This may cause them to feel very lonely that there's no God or perhaps no higher purpose. This could lead to a regression of their behavior, where they will lose some of their already good qualities, to make them more cold and hateful toward their fellow men. They may become angry at God, and that is even more dangerous, I believe. This great agitation could also lead to more global unrest, I fear. You see a manifestation of this growing angst in the greater frequency of apocalyptic movies and TV shows. Everything on the screen seems to be a bit more violent and less hopeful. Of course, I came from the Brady Bunch, and era, and the innocence of shows, and you could see a progression of this genie coming out of the bottle to be more like everything goes type of mentality. Everything on the screen seems a little more violent these days. People are dreaming less about the future, no matter what the good book says. I fear the realization of the emptiness, a great existential thought, if I may say so myself, is pushing the masses toward dark and violent dreams, which is extremely troubling in my opinion. In short, we need more ways to enthusiastically believe in our future. This brings me again to my father's beliefs, which I mentioned earlier in this essay. He's an intellectually honest atheist who I love and respect very much. My dad believes that the value of human life is in a sense exponentially enhanced given the fact of our mortality. The fact that life does not last forever makes every minute count for him. The fact that we don't live forever just makes life more special, and in a sense infinitely valuable. So a finite time on earth makes us infinitely valuable. I like Dad's logic. What we do on earth becomes infinitely valuable, and how we choose to love and what we choose to study, all infinitely valuable. If this idea was understood by Christians who think they have another life in heaven, would this be motivating or depressing? It is to the core of what President Obama and Dr. Martin Luther King said when they talked about the fierce urgency of now. Now is the only thing that's important. Right now, what you do, what you say, how you act, what you do to help the world is urgent now. The emperor has no clothes, and there is no God, and how as a human race will we manage to pick up the pieces and manage this paradigm shift gracefully? That is the troubling thought. How will we give comfort to those believers losing their belief in this information society, where the answer is written logically on the wall? Fairy tales are fun, but there are times when we should be giving up childish things and acting more like adults. When is religion harmful, and when should irrational beliefs be challenged? That is the question. If you listen to Daniel Dennett speak when he talks about the extreme defensive position that most Christians take when their faith, their God, their Bible are challenged, we see this is the story of the Miss USA pageant contestant who said she lost the pageant sticking up for her beliefs that same-sex marriage was evil and not biblically correct. She's now wearing her self-constructed badge of courage for her convictions. My teenage son could tell you that she's being illogical and is ignorant about reality. But because her God is with her, she cannot be challenged at all. She's insulated in this self-prescribed illogical sort of construct that she's got. No logic can challenge her opinions, and that is sad. When religion puts us in this know-it-all frame of mind, people start to talk and act dangerously, and that's my opinion.